Justin, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, good. I can
How
hear you
about,
too. Just checking.
can you hear me?
Thanks.
Okay, good. Because we always have audio. I'll make
Yeah.
sure the audio is working.
Yep.
Okay,
It works.
I'm good.
I don't see Nicole yet.
Oh, is she going to be remote today?
Yes.
Yeah, Andrew is at the at the dais. We just needed an anchor. That's all. Oh, he can't hear me. No, I had the audio off. My bad. Okay,
Did you get in?
he can now. Yeah,
It says welcome.
I think he can't hear
Tell me
you.
when you're ready.
Yeah.
Tell me when you're
Can you
ready.
hear us, Justin?
I can hear you. I am loud and clear.
Okay.
Yes,
well,
you're loud
I'm sitting up here, but
and clear.
I'm just the pretty face.
Yes, you're very
Okay.
You're in
loud
charge.
and clear. There we go. Is Nicole on yet?
I don't have her yet.
Okay. Let me know when we're ready.
Hold on a second. Let me make sure. I sent her the panelists.
Oh,
Oh, there
Nicole's
she is.
logging
There
on
she
right
is.
now.
I got her. She's here.
Is she in?
She is.
All right, all
Let me
right.
start the recording.
When I hear the music, I can
Recording in
be
progress.
ready to dance. Here we go. Here we go. Hola, hola, buenos. I am calling to order the 9th of April, 2026, West County Wastewater Finance and Administration Committee meeting. It is 1 minute after 9 o'clock in the a.m. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Director King Meredith.
Present.
Chair Sudeth.
I am aquí.
We have a quorum.
Gracias. Now is the time for public comment for items not on the agenda. Members of the public may comment during this time up to 3 minutes. 1, 2, 3, not more. Directors may ask brief clarifying questions but may not engage in discussion during public comments made during this time. Madam, have we received any public comments or requests to speak?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on public comment, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. This is for non-agenda items. Seeing none, we have no public comment.
Gracias. I am going to ask Deputy General Manager. Okay, well, I was a little confused. I'm not confused often, but you know, it happens. Deputy General Manager Justin Level, would you, sir, please lead us through the remainder of today's agenda?
Well, good morning, Madam Chair and
Hola.
Director King Meredith. Thank you for indulging my ability to do this remotely. So I will start with item number 1 on the agenda is to accept the minutes of the March 12th, 2026 Finance and Administration Committee meeting. Madam Clerk, have we received written comments on this item or requests to speak?
We have not received any requests to speak. If anyone wishes to comment on item 1, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments. Madam Chair, before you proceed, I want to let the committee know that item 1 of the March 12, 26 minutes, as submitted with the packet, contains errors in the referenced dates. Specifically, item 1 references incorrect dates in both the title and motion. Item 1 should be corrected to accept the minutes of the February 12, 2026 Finance and Administration Committee meeting. The motion should read, a motion was made by Director King Meredith and seconded by Chair Sudeth to accept the minutes of February 12, 2026 of the Finance and Administration Committee meeting. These revisions are necessary to correct the record for item 1 of the March 12, 26 meeting.
Thank you for that correction. And Is there any discussion from the committee?
Oh, no, not this time, Madam Chair.
With no discussion, I would ask for a motion to accept the March 12th, 2026 minutes with revisions.
Okay. Madam Chair,
Just move the
I
item,
would like
please.
to make a motion to accept the minutes of March the 12th, 2026, with its made provisions.
And I will accept that. We'll move the item. Thank you very much. Thank you for the revision.
Thank you.
Item 2 on the agenda is to receive an overview of proposed new job specifications of 3 positions: the Capital Programs and Engineering Manager, Capital Resource Supervisor, and Engineering and Technical Resources Supervisor, and recommended the new job specifications along with modifications to the fiscal year 2026 position control list and the fiscal year 2026 wage schedule to the full board.
Okay. Good morning, Chair Sudduth
So
and.
before we get started,
Okay.
I think we want to ask if there's any public comments from the clerk, and then I'll
Yes, let me
introduce
ask,
you,
yeah.
Tanya.
I'm sorry, I didn't have my mic on. Item 2, we're at item 2 on the agenda. If anyone wishes to comment on item 2, please, or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you. So I'd like to introduce Tanya Williams, our Human Resources Manager, to present this item.
Thank you.
Good morning, Chair Sudduth and Director King Meredith. As Justin said, Tanya Williams, HR Manager for West County Wastewater. This morning, we will be putting on a presentation in regards to some reorganization within the IMP department, specifically in the Capital Programs Division and the Planning and Support Division. Now I am going to turn it over to Angela, the Director of Infrastructure and Planning, and she will go ahead and present what the department is seeking to move forward with.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good
I'm Angela
morning.
Andrews, Director of Infrastructure and Planning, and we're here to discuss the reorganization we're proposing for inside the Infrastructure and Planning Department, and we'll talk a little bit about the merging of 2 divisions that we think makes a lot of sense given this point in time in the organization's history in delivering capital projects as well as engineering support. So currently our org chart right now is we do have the Director of Infrastructure and Planning position overseeing Capital Portfolio Manager as well as the Planning and Support Supervisor. The Capital Portfolio Manager manages a team of project managers that support the delivery of capital projects. Those are our larger projects, but we also assist in emergencies as well as spot repairs and other types of projects here at the organization. We also have our planning and support manager who manages a team of engineers, so 2 engineers who oversee the engineering support for those capital projects as well as permitting. So we have more of a external client-facing as well as internal client-facing engineer. And then we also have our GIS analysis as well as our district inspector. And we have an administrative technician who supports the permitting as well in that division. So our proposed organizational chart shows that we will retain the Director of Infrastructure and Planning a merger of those 2 divisions. Then that manager will oversee the capital programs supervisor, who would then oversee the project managers. On the other side, we will have the engineering and technical resources engineer or supervisor who will manage a team of engineers, which will be 2 associate engineers, a GIS program analyst, as well as the district inspector. What we're finding is that the district inspector is working closely with the engineers as it relates to permitting. So we will still retain that position under that branch of this manager. And then we are looking at how we will reposition the analysts. We also have a senior management analyst and an administrative technician right now reporting to the different branches of the planning and support manager as well as capital projects. So we will be revisiting that structure, most likely reporting directly to the director of infrastructure and planning manager, because then we can share those resources across the division, but also share those resources across the organization as we are looking at a team of analysts to help support the organization as a whole in the administrative support. So our recommendation is to approve the job classification specifications for those two new positions, reclassify the planning and support manager to be incumbent to the capital program manager and the engineering manager. So instead of having the two separate, it will be reclassified as one, and then approve the amended position control and wage schedule. Just to remind us that this is not an addition. Right now, we are not requesting additional roles. This will be still the 25 positions in the department. So we're not requesting additional positions at this time. Here are the salary ranges for the new job classifications. So the capital programs and engineering manager will be within this range, the 188 to 229. The capital program supervisor will be 169 to 205, and then the engineering and technical resources supervisor will be 172 to 209. And we're open to any questions you may have, and that's the end of our presentation, but I also have Tanya Williams to support. Oh, she has something to add.
So I would like to add, thank you, Angela. I want to add that part of this process.
Tell them who you are speaking. Tell the audience who you are speaking.
Oh, sorry,
I know
Tanya.
you said before, but.
Sorry, Tanya Williams, HR Manager for West County Wastewater. Thank you, Angela, for going over the presentation and identifying what we're looking to do. I also want to point out that during this process, what we had 5 years ago and what we thought we needed 5 years ago in the division, we're having the two separate. We found that it would be, after they took a look at the current classifications and the work that was being performed within the division, and thought that combining the manager over the two would provide more efficiency for the planning of the projects and the carry out. So you'll have that one manager overseeing, and then giving that manager the supervisory roles to be able to work directly with those PMs and then project managers, and also in the engineering classifications as well. Also, as you can see, it provides opportunity for career advancement within the organization. And it aligns also within our other divisions where we have field supervisors in our maintenance group, our operations, our collection systems. So it's kind of aligning with the way that the district has gone over the last several years. So I just wanted to point that out, that in addition to the need for efficiency, more efficiency in the division, that it also has a second part of also providing career advancement development, which will help with our retention and our staff and the culture in which we're continuing to build within West County Wastewater. So I'll turn it over to any questions that you may have, and then we can go forward.
I see out of the corner of my eye. Do you remember that? I spy out of the corner of my eye.
Yes.
That the general manager, see, I'm looking this way and I can see,
Yes, Madam.
and I can feel his energy
Yes, Madam
that he
Chair.
would like to say something.
It's okay with you and the Deputy General Manager. Tanya, thank you. And so there's no net increase in positions, is that correct?
No net increase in positions. What we are planning to do is with the supervisory roles, as I mentioned, promotional opportunity. We plan to open the recruitments as a promotional opportunity. Hopefully, we'll get some successful candidates that would promote into those positions. And then, depending on the vacancies, we'll have one position that we'll be able to backfill as a result. Supervisors are filled within, then there'll be one, but we do not plan to go over the net FTE of 25.
And we are creating a new position title, a new manager position title, and a new supervisor position, but we're actually reducing
The
one
number of
manager?
managers, yeah.
Okay. And I think that that's an important point to note for some board members, especially that have really looked at, well, how much management structure do we have? And as we've said repeatedly, when we see opportunities to adjust the organization to the current needs and also to try to minimize the amount of, the ratio of managers to staff, et cetera, and have them in the appropriate locations. This was an example of an opportunity to do that where we think we can deliver services better and no net increase in positions and actually a reduction in a manager position. Also on the org chart, the department head, you showed the positions. There also is another division that reports to the department. I think that will be important to note because it looks very, very vertical otherwise.
Yes, for this presentation, we were focusing on the division with the changes, but we do, the Director of Infrastructure and Planning does also oversee our collection systems, where we have one manager over the collection systems, but two supervisors that report to that manager. So we do not have multiple managers in that particular division, but we also still created a career ladder by adding the two field supervisors to report. And then we have a collection crew of 10 and that report to the actual collection supervisor's manager.
Thank you, Angela. I just, on this chart, you just saw how it was, otherwise it just looked like department head to manager
Right.
to two supervisors, but there's also another entire division that still reports to the department head.
And we can update that if we need to go to the board.
It's fine for this.
so-
I just
Okay,
wanted to
great.
make sure that the
Sure.
members of the committee here understood that as well.
Yes.
Thank you, sir. And I don't know why, but I think the general manager's peeking at my notes. But I'll ask you questions in a moment. I'm going to ask Director King Meredith if she has questions first.
Okay.
Your presentation. I just have one question. I was looking at the current org chart that seems like the general manager has already explained that. But I was looking at the other departments, but as I see that for directors and for the capital portfolio manager and on the other side of the plan, they all under the head of the director of infrastructure, correct?
Currently, yes.
For the senior manager, so you have like 3 managers? What you have 1, 2, 3. You have 3 managers and 1 analyst.
So-
That is under the capital.
Yes, so right now, we have the positions of 3 managers. Oh,
I'm sorry.
it's okay. Do you want to repeat your question for the record if they couldn't hear?
Yes, I
Or I can-
apologize for that. So looking at the capital portfolio manager and looking at the other 2 managers that are aligned underneath that, that entity, and then we have the management analysis. I was just wondering, for those individuals there, they'll continue be up and won't be any movement there?
Well-
It will be continued?
Well, right now, we have those positions reporting the way they're reporting now, but with the consolidation, we are probably going to pull out the management analyst to report directly to the Director of Infrastructure and Planning, and it will allow me to have the flexibility to allocate resources to the whole organization versus just the department, but we will still retain them for the needs that we have for our department, but we know there's a lot of different initiatives. There's a lot of cost collaborative initiatives, so it'll allow us the flexibility to allocate those resources as needed. But some of the analysts will still need to help us with the permitting, administrative work that's related to capital projects, but we'll have that flexibility so we can be flexible for the organization needs.
Okay.
Madam King Meredith,
Yes.
if I could just add, Angela, thank you. I
Thank
just wanted to reemphasize one point that you just made there when she said that the analysts will report to the department head. She didn't say to distribute work within her department, but she said to help with, I'm not sure what you called it, but throughout the agency,
Yeah.
which is an important component of this. And what we want to make sure that we're all thinking about is in not creating the silos within the departments, but rather where the need is throughout the agency. And that analyst reporting directly to the department head makes that much easier to do.
Okay. So it's more or less efficiencies, correct?
Yes, so we will be able to support what's happening, not just in collection systems, capital projects, engineering, but also plant staff as they need administrative support. In addition to the administrative services department, the analysts tend to work together in order to deliver that support throughout the organization.
Okay. Well, thank you, and that's the only question I have, Madam Chair. And thank you, Angela.
Thank you. And thank you. Did she leave? Tanya's here, right? Yeah, okay, good. This is for both of you. So thank you. No, don't leave, don't leave. Thank you, General Manager, because he, like I said, he peed into my notes. So he asked you, either he has become to know me very well, or we both have the same type of crystal ball at home. I don't have a crystal ball. I lie. But I do have pretty good insight, and so does he, into the questions that will be asked. So thank you for the presentation. I would like, in reference to what the general manager just spoke of, to highlight, thank you for mentioning about the structure. Speaking of the current org chart, I think that it's good to have this, but I would like for you to add in, and we haven't discussed where we're going to do this, but I would like for you after this one to go ahead and add in what it looks like in full.
Okay.
I think it's beneficial
Okay.
to have it in full. That was one of my questions, so thank you for bringing that up, because I think it will highlight this notion of, are we management heavy, or are you taking on the additional responsibility to make the organization? We gave you the permission to have a flex work environment, and this is a good example of using that flexibility to make it more efficient, and to show that in that is not a flat org chart, but you are actually to show the wings, right? And the other thing is that what is that management to staff ratio, which is why I asked you to come. You don't need to tell me the number, but I would have that on hand to be able to respond to what our current manager staff ratio is, especially given that we're reducing the actual manager numbers, but we're increasing the opportunities. So have that number on hand.
Okay.
And I don't need to know it right now. Reporting structure, all numbers. And then the open recruitments are going to be used as promotional opportunities. and which is good. And then, do we have people who actually qualify? And if we do,
Yes.
that is great, but do we have ones to qualify for the backfill? And if we do, I would highlight that. You don't have to, I don't want to know the names, and I don't think it's appropriate to say the names in the meeting, but I do think it's appropriate to say something to the effect of, many people have either been training or working, even if it's working out of class in these positions, to learn as learning opportunities. Go ahead.
So I will say that the whole organization has been trained on the capital project delivery system. So not just our division or department. So if the position opens up for promotion opportunities, we can see candidates from inside the division, but we can see candidates from the whole organization apply. But we do feel like we do have a good bench who are ready to step up to the challenge to move up in the
But
organization.
I think that's something you should say,
Okay.
right? Because saying that we're going to offer it as a promotional opportunity, and then on the other side, we don't have anyone who qualifies, just seems like it's perfunctory. But if we're saying that we're offering as promotional opportunities because we've readied a class of workers who are able to apply and to be duly considered for these roles, there's a whole different thing,
Yeah.
right? Because that is what we said. Where? Where do we say that? What do I always ask?
What, you said what, on the job, well,
No, where do we say the job readiness?
say that again?
He's gonna say it. Go ahead. No, where do I always ask you guys to tie this back to?
To the strategic plan.
Strategic plan. So I would like for you to tie it back there. Say, just as we had discussed, this ties back to our strategic plan, is ensuring that when these opportunities come back, right? That, and just say, just as the board and the staff developed in the strategic plan, the job readiness and making sure we have opportunities available to the workforce when they come available. And so, Deputy General Manager, you can assist them in pulling out which part of the strategic plan, but I would like for you to make sure you're tying this back to the strategic plan. So all of this can be tied back to the strategic plan. The leanness, right? I'm a Lean Six Sigma woman, right? That's that you're not just doing this because you want to come up with new titles or whatever. You're making the organization more lean and efficient. That's in our strategic plan. So, Deputy General Manager, you can assist them, please, in pulling that out.
I'm happy to just talk specifically about strategic
Because we're right
plan.
here.
So this item is, our goal, or the board's goal, our organizational goal around organizational capacity and development
Yes.
and so this restructuring is helping us strengthen organizational capacity,
Yes.
making sure that we have appropriate supervisory structure and program, as well as ensuring that we have career pathways that support staff development.
Yes.
I mean, that's really what this change is doing.
It's that one too. Those are the ones I want you to point out. But point this that direction. So we're too because this is what we asked you to do. The board approved this strategic plan. So you're just feeding off of what we told you to do. So point back to that, okay? So as you're going through these, and you're gonna and so what I like on these PowerPoints is, on the presentation, is highlight it. Put in here on each one of these sides, you got the current org chart, you got the proposed org chart, you got your recommendation, but each one of these slides should have some tag back to the strategic plan. And when you speak to us, you tie it back to the strategic plan again, right? And so before you even introduce Ms. Andrews, you should be saying the same thing. You're gonna say, pursuant to our guidance from the board on the strategic plan, this reorganization ties to these goals, like this, right? Even the part about the promotional opportunities is giving is building a career pathway, right? And then the other thing is that, if there's any training for people who may not be ready now, what is that? And this is what I want to ask you, okay? And so there's not a question now, it's a rhetorical question. It's something that you can bring forth to them, to the meeting. The question that Director King Meredith just asked about the senior management analyst, I think it holds true for the admin tech as well, because the reporting structure changed for the administrative technician. I think you highlight that it does give it, and go back to the flexibility that it allows the director and even your managers and supervisors. It allows you to use your discretion in how you want to use the staff. We're not here, the board is not here to get into operational waters. And so I want to stop that conversation before it starts. Okay, so why are they now reporting? This is not what we should be doing. But we give you the flexibility to use the staff. As long as you're not coming here asking me for additional FTE, it's not my problem. This is between you and the general manager of how you use the staff. But what you should be saying is, thank you for allowing us the flexibility to use the staff to accomplish the goal in the way you need to do it. And you can just say, we're moving this staff in the way that allows us to achieve the goal. That's what I would say. Because if you're addressing the senior analyst, then you should address the administrative technician the same way, okay? And the career path I answered. Candidates available. Yeah, and I think that was it. Let me make sure.
Madam Chair, may I
Yes, sir.
add a couple
That
of
was it for
comments?
me. Yes, sir.
We mentioned efficiency a few times, but I'd really like to stress that it's not just about efficiency, but it's about effectiveness.
Sure.
Which is actually the end goal.
Sure.
More important than efficiency. And it is tied to our stage of organizational development. As Angela mentioned before, the position we were in prior is very different than where we are now with the project delivery unit, the procedures we have in place, the training that Angela mentioned that's been provided to numerous other staff within the agency. They are not all as effective project managers as those that are within the capital portfolio unit, but they are learning the principles of project management and the ability to have analysts and administrative technicians not siloed within a particular department and protected there. The department head, Angela, said, yes, it's for the agency as a whole when needed. And so we can move resources effectively between departments as the need arises, not necessarily the reporting arrangement, but the delivery of services.
So I think that that's just as important about, I don't know, and that word silos made me think about farm. I did want to make me think about, but I do like the rest of the sentence about being able to utilize, even using the word resources. That made me think about people. Right?
Reducing barriers.
To the strategic plan, you're giving people the opportunity to learn. They're going to learn other skills when they're working with other people, right? Instead of being relegated to only doing this one thing for this one set of people. And so this is your way of helping them to build their career portfolio. If I'm working with collection systems this month, then I'm going to be working with the engineers, and now I'm going to be working. So this is yours. This is up to you, and it's your discretion. But the part that you say about where it's needed to help the organization run more effective and efficient that's the line, right? Where the organization needs whether it's a person or the position of the person, right? It's not just a person, it's the position. It's the skills that are needed in that position. I try not to talk about a person. It's the position, the skills that are needed in that position. So where the department needs that skill set is where you are going to position them, right? So I think that that's important to highlight. And that's where you're positioning this. And so on the page on your recommendation, can we go to that page? Reclassify. Because it says and so Deputy General Manager, help me out here. Because when I read this, I still, like I said, I try not to think about the person and rather the position. Do we have to, and maybe General Counsel, you can help me out here. Do we have to refer to the person? Can we just refer to the position when you're talking to the board? And you guys handle the person? Can we just say reclassify the planning and support manager position or classification to the capital program and engineering manager classification? I don't want to talk about the person.
Yeah, so I think what we could do, because it's under the general manager's discretion to appoint positions. What we need the board to do is to approve the job classification.
That's all I want to do. Yes.
And then us as through the general manager can make the appointment, and through the appropriate recruitment process, I believe that would fall. We wouldn't need to have a board authorization to do any kind of reclassifying specific specific person, but we do need to have the ability to, we need the board to approve the classification and the wage schedule for that particular position.
Right.
And then we can do, and then as the board would allow through delegated authority to the general manager can make the appropriate determination. I believe that would be appropriate. I don't know if general counsel has any additional things to add on that one.
No, I think that makes sense.
So we can take out the word incumbent and just say the position, because I just don't want to deal with people in this sense. And because I think that lends itself to a whole different conversation, and I don't want anyone saying that the board approved this particular person's position. It lends itself to the board favoring particular people. And I don't want to do that. I want to say we're going to reclassify the position to this other position. And then whoever's the position, I don't even know who it is. I don't even care. I want the general manager or whoever the general manager is delegated to figure that out. Does that make sense?
Well,
So on
the
this slide
reason.
right here,
Oh,
I'm sorry,
Okay,
Tanya.
go ahead.
Reclassify planning and support manager incumbent, it would just say position.
That's all I'm asking. Or classification, whatever. I think it's a classification so that it's balanced. So take out incumbent, the word incumbent, and put classification to the capital program and engineering manager classification. Does that make sense? Because, and I think classification, because if you becomes a senior or whatever, or, 1, 2, 3, it's a class, not a position. Is that correct?
Correct.
Right, in HR terms?
Yes, the
It'd be a
classification
class
is different from a
than a position, yeah.
And it does imply.
I'm going back to my HR days.
Yes,
to your position and the point you're making is what this implies is that the board is saying this particular person who is the incumbent, the board says, yes, take this person and put them into this position, which is not the board's role. Rather, the board's role is to say, yes, you can reclassify and classify right there as the beginning, the support manager classification position, whatever the appropriate HR
Yes.
term there is, Tanya. And that's what you're looking for, I
Yes,
believe.
that's what I'm looking for. I'm not comfortable making HR decisions
okay.
for I think it's
We
an
weren't
operational
asking.
decision, and I'm
We
not.
inadvertently worded it to make it seem like it might look like that.
Yes,
We
yes,
were
yes, yes,
not.
yes, yes. So again, I look for something different than most people, and I'm just not comfortable having the board do operational decisions, right? And the last thing I'll say, so these are 3 separate actions you're asking us to do, right? Right? So my last thing is just put a S on that recommendation at the top. That's it. That's just me. So make it recommendations, right? With that, Director King Meredith, anything else? Just move the item. You can move, oh, wait, do we have any other comments from you all? Do you have enough? Okay, any more comments from you? And because we've done a lot of speaking and comments, I'm going to ask the board clerk, can you ask if there's any other public comments? Because we asked before the presentation.
Gotcha.
Thank you.
On item 2, do we have any public comments? You may approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. And this is again on job specifications. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Appreciate you both. And with that, Director King Meredith, would you like to move the item to the full board? Go ahead.
I would like to move this item, job specification and recommendations, to the full board.
Okay, so I will accept your recommendation, and I will second a recommendation with the guidance that we have provided to staff to bring this to the full board with that guidance. And Deputy General Manager, do we have any idea when this will come to the full board?
We're actually would like to have it to the board next April 15th. So we want to move very quickly on this item, actually. So
Okay.
if the committee is available and willing to approve it to the board, we'll get it to the next board meeting.
Okay, so let's just make sure we have those recommendations, and we will be prepared to speak on the item. Thank you. Next item, sir.
All right, next item on the agenda is item 3, is to receive a presentation or an updated presentation on the technology action plan and recommend the report to the full board. Madam Clerk, have we received written comments on this item or requests to speak?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on item 3, technology action plan, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
All right. So I'll go ahead and move this item forward and start discussing. So we had a very robust discussion about the technology action plan last committee meeting in March. We had our consultants, David Kraut and Tom Jacobson from Client First, give a presentation, and we went, I would say, pretty far. We went into a lot of details during the presentation, and I think just looking back at the feedback from the committee, I wanted to retool the presentation just really to focus on the highlights about what the technology action plan is and how that ties with board direction. So Kim, if you can go to the next slide, please. So really, this technology action plan provides the framework and the focus for us as staff to implement the strategic plan goal of integrated systems and innovative solutions. So on this slide, these are all the objectives related to this particular strategic plan goal that is approved by the board. Update and maintain cybersecurity measures, develop and implement AI use policy, optimize current systems for efficiency and effectiveness, leverage reliable data-informed decision-making, and ensure sufficient technical support and training for all staff. I think we've touched, this plan touches on every single one of these objectives. And so this is, as the board, you say, the what, like us as staff, what do you want us to do? What is the organization? What are the goals you want the organization to work towards? And as staff, we are going to do the how. Like, what are we going to do to make those, bring those goals to fruition? And the technology action plan touches on all of those, and it gives us a roadmap. So Kim, if you can go to the next slide. So the technology action plan, it's a 5-year roadmap. It doesn't touch on one single project. It prioritizes our foundational systems, and through this, we've been able to hone in on, while there are dozens, actually over 100 different software applications we're using within the organization, we really honed in on these, really the top 5 foundational systems of what we need to focus on to ensure that those technology and software systems are working with what we need to do as an organization, that this technology aligns with our day-to-day operations, and that the technology action plan is emphasizing training and change management. Because as an organization, we've talked a lot about this, where we've been, where we were 10 years ago, where we were 5 years ago as an organization, and we're continuing to evolve and move forward. And as we're looking toward the vision of the future, things are going to change. And so this technology action plan is just giving us the framework of areas that we can work on to continue adapting to as new technology comes. Because as we've talked about in this committee before, when we talked about our AI policy, there is continuing to change. I mean, even the software companies that are making AI are bringing out new components. Like, it seems like every week, and then they're trying to just discover, as a technology company, what's it going to look like in the future. So this is helping us be able to adapt to what's going to happen in the future. Can you go to the next slide, please? As part of the technology action plan, we had work groups, so almost nearly 50% of all of our staff were participated in the work groups and the workshops in some way. And so just a summary of what we heard during those workshops. There's too many manual processes and spreadsheets. The systems don't always talk with each other. There are training gaps and limited use of the tools we already have. And then staff spend time working around the systems instead of working with them. And so this technology action plan gives us some direction on what systems we want to work on to improve those uses, so we can take care of these issues and really use the systems that we have. Can you go to the next slide, please? And so a couple things that we've looked at is as we are diagnosing the problems, why we may have certain issues, and why we want to improve utilization of our current software systems, is when staff are doing manual tracking and reporting, they're not using the system as efficiently as possible. They could be using resources, the way the software is built, to pull out that information. Sometimes there's inconsistent data for decision making. So those are other areas that we're currently working on, of ensuring that we have quality data, that we can trust our data. If we don't continue to use our systems, we have higher risk during our audits or outages, or if there's staff turnover. The systems, as long as we're using them to the full capacity that we need to for our operations, as staff come and go, it really embeds the processes to continue to have continuity in operations, regardless of who's working in each individual position. And then as demand for different things increases, if our software systems aren't set up and configured and used and utilized as we want them to, it's harder to scale as our demands increase. You go to the next slide, please. And so through this process, we've honed in on what are our priority software applications. So there's the software related to finance, payroll, and human resources. So that's paying vendors, keeping track of our accounts, paying staff, making sure keeping track of all the benefits through the MOUs, and everything related to the employees. Then there's the SCADA system, which is related to how our treatment plant operates and monitors and controls all the different components of producing clean water. We have our GIS system, which is a geographic information system. And that creates the foundation for our asset management system. So that is really a core piece. And we've spent the last several years of implementing a new asset management. Sometimes we'll call it a computerized maintenance management system, CMMS. And so GIS is is integrated in with how we're managing our assets, and we're continuing to make improvements on that front. Our laboratory information management, because it's as our industry is driven by regulations, and we have monthly, biannually, annual reports that we need to prove about our water quality. So that's an important component. Our document management system. So this is how are we managing our electronic files. And then Microsoft 365 as an organization, we have been using the Microsoft project for a long time. And as Microsoft has built out different capabilities, whether it's Copilot or Teams or SharePoint, how do we collaborate with the existing file structures we have? And so, using Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and just that is one of those core foundational software systems that we're using, Outlook, to communicate and manage our calendars. There are other software applications, as was noted in the technology action plan, but really these are what we would call the priority applications that we want to ensure that staff are trained on, and that we're using them to make those data-driven decisions that we need to make for the organization. Can you go to the next slide, please? And so one of the questions from our last from the last committee meeting, how do we determine which items were high priority, medium, or low? So this is towards the back of the technology action plan, described what was determined through high, medium, low. And this is really through a staff collaborative effort from each of their different areas that each work group had. And so the high priorities are really mission critical to the agency or its departments and mitigates risk. And there's significant cost benefit, or there's a good return on investment. Or that particular program or software, that area, provides significant level of service to constituents in the community. And then the additional part is on timing. What makes it high is something they want to do in the next year or two. Then there's the medium priority, which is important to the agency or user departments. There's a measurable cost benefit or return on investment, but it's dependent on other high priority prerequisites. So sometimes before we can get to the medium, we have to complete the high priorities. And then the low, and then this is also a kind of medium term. If you're thinking timeline, it's really in the, whether it's 2 to 3 years. Low priority is it provides value with minimal cost benefit return investment, could be dependent on other higher priority, high or medium priority items. And it is, or it's timing wise. It's something we want to get to, but we know we're going to wait until year 4 or 5 that we want to get to it. So it becomes a lower priority. You can go to the next slide. And so this technology action plan is designed to be a living document. So it's something that we're going to be reviewing every year internally to look at, okay, what items are we working on? And then how are we implementing? So just part of what the findings were on here is that training is a major finding. We talked quite a bit about training. Our last F&A committee meeting about this, that it's something that we are continuing to invest in. We want to make sure that staff have appropriate training and that they have the resources to get trained on all the softwares, whether it's somebody internally is going to train somebody else, whether they are using external training resources, we want to provide those for all staff. Want to make sure that the training is practical and it's role-based, because somebody who is an administrator of a software needs a different level of training versus somebody who's doing data input and is not, pulling reports. We want to ensure that every software system that we've identified power users and champions. So if we don't have a core group of staff who feel empowered, then that software isn't going to continue to be worked on and developed, because as any software system, the needs change. We essentially need to continually do process improvement on all of our software systems. We do some improvements, it works. If our needs change, we need to continue evaluating. Are we using the software the best and the way for the organization? And our end goal about looking at our software systems is we want to make systems easier and not harder to use. Okay, can you go to the next slide, please? And so as we've discussed with the board and with the committee about making data-driven decisions, so things that we're going to be doing related to this technology action plan is we have an existing information technology committee and we have an existing data work group. This plan identifies areas where we're just going to, how we can retool the IT committee to be to focus more on the software systems, ensuring that our power users know how to get the resources they need, how do we get trained on staff, and then evaluate each software system. And then data work group, what we're focused on with that group is looking at the quality of the data. How do we pull it out? How do we use it? How do we use that data to make decisions? And so there'll be coordination between the two groups so that we can continue to use our software systems to make data-driven decisions within the organization. And we'll also be working towards prioritization and sequencing of the different work, because we don't have enough bandwidth within the organization to do everything all at the same time. But because we do have different work groups, we will be able to have several improvements happening at in parallel, and those will be we'll be putting some additional resources and asking that through our budget process. And our managers, what we're going to be asking them to help us is looking at pain points within the software, validating what the priorities are, and helping ensure that they're supporting staff adoption. So as an organization, we've talked about training, providing resources, allowing opportunities for staff to grow. This will also provide those opportunities for staff to take on different leadership roles in different and varying positions. They don't necessarily have to have the title of manager, supervisor to take a leadership role in ensuring that a software system is working for what that work group is. And so this is also going to be providing additional career and professional growth opportunities for staff. Can you move to the next slide, please? And so what we're going to be doing next based on this plan, right? As we talked about, this is to make work easier and more consistent. We don't want to be more complex and make things harder for staff. So the first part is just establishing clear ownership of software applications. So there is a designated owner and core group for each software application that we use. We're going to be starting by planning for highest impact areas. We've talked about some of those. We're continuing to work on our asset management, GIS implementation. We've done a significant amount of effort these last several years. There's more to be done. We have plans. We just need to keep moving forward on those implementation plans and make sure that there's resources available for staff to do that. We're going to be adding these initiatives as part of our budget planning. So you'll see as our fiscal year 27 update, you'll see some specific items related to IT that came out of the technology action plan. We'll be realigning kind of what the charter of the IT committee is, looking at who are the participants and making adjustments if needed. And then we're just, as part of this, is just continuing the communication with managers. We have ongoing training with our managers and supervisors. So we already have avenues and ways to continue to keep that communication door open and have it go both ways, because we need to hear from the managers and staff about what they want and what their needs are. And so then we can ensure that we've got the appropriate resources for them. And I can go to the next slide. I believe this is kind of the end of kind of where we're at. I didn't go into the details, but there's, as attached to the staff report today, was just we did make some edits and updates to the technology action plan, and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Gracias. Thank you. Director King Meredith.
Director King Meredith, I believe your microphone's off. If you can turn that on, please.
There I go again.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. I didn't want to make all that noise, people turning pages and stuff. But anyway, thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Deputy General Manager, for this thorough presentation. I have just a few clarifications for myself, okay, at this point. I was looking at page 37. Let me go to page 37. If I may. Come on. Here we go. Okay, for the priorities for the software and applications, and as you mentioned, for these 6, you mentioned for what is noted for the high and the medium, and for the low, for its priorities. But with these AI, with a lot of these going into AI? Like, I know for the financial, do we have AI in financials at this point as far as, I guess it's a book, what does it say? For looking at separation of looking at different layouts of the payrolls and the HR. Do we have anything set up in AI at this point?
At this point, we don't. Right, as part of the AI policy, that's actually something we want to be very careful about when we're talking about payroll, personal identifiable information, that we want to move very carefully about how that information. But at this point, we're not using AI for our payroll or finance systems. There is a potential for AI for automation of, say, some financial processes that are more related to, processing and approving vendor invoices and those types of things. But it's, we want to be very careful about when and how it may be used when it's related to our personnel. And right now we are not.
We're not, okay, because I know it's been a lot, not with, it's just been a lot of conversations how AI is being used in different, at different agencies and different places, and I was seeing if we have, started looking to that. I'm not saying for us to do it, but I was just wondering if that was something that we're have in place at this point. Okay, and as for, I think page 40 was my next one, just for clarification for me. So to reboot, I was looking at to reboot this information for technology communities and coordination with DataWorks Group. So how is that actually laid out? I mean, I know it's operational, but the retooling, is that a cost?
There's no cost related to that. This is an internal working committee. We've had the IT committee for about 5 years now. And our initial charter of the Information Technology Committee was to really have an opportunity for staff to understand what was going on more with our managed service provider, which is Apex right now. Before we had a different company that was helping us with our network, any support tickets we had, and so it was that, just kind of so staff can understand what was going on, making sure that we were had that our network was working, that our systems were working, that our servers were kind of were working as needed, and to have staff an opportunity to, when they were looking at new software systems, to have essentially a vetting process when there was a new software. So now what the retooling, what we're thinking about is changing the focus from just looking at new softwares or spending more time of looking at how our managed service provider, like what information they're able to provide. The other layer that we're looking onto is let's do deep dives into how our existing software systems are working and making sure that we have the right tools and training for each of our software. And then that's kind of really what the change in focus. So we meet about every 6 weeks as an IT committee. And so that would be just so it's kind of having kind of what our set agenda would be. And that's really what I refer to retooling. There's no cost
Retooling.
involved. It's
Okay.
more of how are we focused internally to ensure that we are making progress towards what our goals are really and how we're using our software applications.
Okay, and let's see. I think it was one more, and just one more. You mentioned, it's slide 42, what happens next? And you expound and you spoke on that for these different entities that are showed here. For the effort, it's about making work easier and not more consistent, not adding complexity. So with that, you mentioned about the growth in these areas. Something like, we also allow the opportunity for growth. Am I missing it?
Yes, yeah. So when I was referring to take on leadership roles when their title is not necessarily, within a leader, but there's opportunities for all levels of staff to get involved and take different assignments where they can grow their leadership skills within the organization. And it's really looking at it from a professional development tool, of as we are, what I've like to say is, we're a learning organization and we need to provide those opportunities for staff to learn and grow within their positions. And it's, as we talked about in the previous item, there are staff that have been, preparing, indirectly, for future promotional opportunities. This could be another area where staff will have opportunities to get the skills needed. So when there are opportunities to move up within the organization, that they are going to be prepared.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you, Deputy General Manager. And with that, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Thank you, Director King Meredith. All right. Thank you, Deputy General Manager. A few things. I'm looking back at our previous discussion on this item. And thank you for some of the clarification. I just have a few questions for further clarification. So, where to start? Thank you for adding the slide on the strategic plan. That's going to be very helpful. I also think that it's a slide. I know this is related to that specific strategic plan goal about integrated systems, but I also think that this will tie to going back to our previous discussion about the job specs. I think that you can also tie this to the capacity and development strategic goal, sir.
Yes.
And and making informed decisions, data-driven informed decisions. That would be my recommendation, because I think that this having, going back to the complaints screen, or that's what I call it, but you call it what we heard from staff. I call it the complaint screen. And yes, so you know the one where it's staff gave you feedback. And so, you know, if staff is spending too much time working around systems, or it's this one and then the next one, systems don't talk to each other, and then the next one says, okay, diagnose causes to optimize systems. So they're saying we're making inconsistent, so go to the next one. It says we're inconsistent data for decision making. Okay, that's antithetical to our strategic plan that says you're going to make informed, you're going to use data to inform your decision making, right? So I think that we can tie this back to the strategic plan that says we're going to use data to make good informed decisions, so they can underscore the need for having a robust technology. So I would tie as many of those strategic plan goals to this as possible. That would be my recommendation for that. Data-driven, I believe it says data-driven decision-making. And then the capacity. When I looked, and you mentioned having over 100 different software, I did look at the plan itself, and it mentioned 120 different apps in use. It's mind-blowing. I am a tech person, and is there a plan to look at what we're using in any effort to see what is necessary, what we need, what we like, and what we just don't, and what we can do is out? Is that something that we're taking a look at? Is this for you or the general manager?
Yes, I
will
mean, just
defer
to add,
to-
oh, got Andrew on.
I'm just going to say I will defer to Justin, but that's essentially what this plan is all about.
Right. Yeah, so it's something we're continuing to look at. It is, if it's if it's used a lot, it does take a little bit of time to kind of decouple ourselves from using a system. Out of these 120, some of them are used by a very small number of people. So that's something that we're going to continue to evaluate, because every system, there's a cost associated with it too. So it is one of those pieces where that software application may have served a purpose in the past, but now it doesn't anymore. And so that's just part of our ongoing review about each of our software systems. And that's part of this plan. It's just something that it's just on an annual basis. Let's look at what we're using, how we're using it, what the use case is. Maybe we don't need to pay as many licenses. Maybe we only need 5 licenses instead of 10, those types of questions, because maybe there is a need for certain people. We don't want to take away a useful tool for staff just because it's only 3 people are using it. But so we're going to evaluate every system that we're going to be using, what's going to be the best use case for the organization.
I think that's my question. I appreciate that, but I also appreciate looking at the feedback that says too many manual processes and spreadsheets. Systems don't always talk to each other. Training gaps limit use of tools we already have. Staff spend time working around systems instead of with them. So going back to what you said about, there's a part in here that said that this is about prioritizing foundational systems before new tools. And if you have 120 different applications, that's new tools before foundational systems. That means somebody found a program that they liked, and they're using that instead of a foundational system. So without telling you what to do, I'm telling you, there's somebody, just because one or two people are using something that they like, they haven't found a foundational system that works for the entire agency. And yes, that's going to be hard for somebody because they like something. I like creating spreadsheets in Word. Is that the most efficient way of using my time? No. Use a spreadsheet, use the program that's meant to control spreadsheets. A lot of people don't like using Excel. I happen to be very good at it, but people don't like it because it means they have to change. And people don't like change. People don't like using programs that are meant to make their work more efficient, especially if they've been using a particular method for 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And you said at the beginning, this emphasizes training and change management. And I think part of change management is we can't have one or two people using a software. It's different if that software is meant for the wastewater industry and there might only be one or two people who are using it for that specific purpose. But if we're looking at the fact that you've got administrative things that can be done with a software that's across the agency, rather than this one person using it because they like it, not because it's necessary, that's what I'm asking. And you don't have to answer me right now. I'm just wondering, this review, 120 seems like a lot for an agency of this size. So I would like for you just to be able to answer that question to the board that you are, I would like for you to get ahead of it instead of the question being asked. Just to say that we're taking a review. But I think that saying that we don't want to take the software away from somebody because they like it is probably not the right answer. You might want to make sure that it's for
To
the
rephrase that is,
yes.
it's not because somebody likes it, it's because it's useful for the organization.
That's
is
what,
really what we're doing.
there you
Yes.
go. There's the answer that I would look for, because it is, and even that is integral to the job that they're doing, right? So that's what I was looking for, because even the consultant had that feedback when I was reading the full report. All right, and what else did I want to say on this one? Okay, the technology committee, my question on that one is the same question I had the last time. Is you say that they will be coordinating with the data work group, which is great. I think all of that is great. And this might be also a rhetorical question. Are the people who you're reaching out to also the people who are the most in need of giving you not just feedback, but where's the question? It said that the consulting, that the committee, it said managers are involved in identifying pain points, validating priorities, and supporting staff adoption. And you don't have to have a title as a manager to be part of that. I think that when I asked you guys, this is the last meeting, it's that often the people who have the greatest difficulty in change management and in adopting technology are the people who are the least asked for this pain points, validating priorities, because they don't use this software. They're not sitting in an office somewhere. They're not the ones that we think to ask the questions most often. Ask the people who are closest to the pain, and you'll get the pain points. So is there a variety of people who are being asked to be part of this infotech committee and or part of the data work group? Is there a variety of people, whether they're part of the collection systems, whether
Sure.
they're part of the people in the Director Weiner's group, whether they are part of the not just the lab management, but the actual users all over, or even this new user group that you're creating, so that we get a good representation from all over the staff, every staff level, And because I get that all the staff are going to be trained, so all staff should be part of the feedback loop. Is that happening?
Yeah, there are opportunities now, but we're looking at who are, like your question, are the right people in the room right now. I say we have a really good representation on both groups, data work group plus our IT committee. It's just reevaluating who are the right people that need to be in there, because that's what we need to review and just verify. Because maybe we do right now, or maybe we need to add a couple people that are going to be able to provide that information that we're looking for to continue to improve the utilization of our software systems.
Okay, so I think that when you talk to the full board, just offer that you're reviewing. So when you say this on that screen, how this will be managed when you're talking about retooling the Infotech committee, you offer that you are determining who are the right people in the room, who are the ones who should be giving this feedback, and that you are reviewing that to ensure you have the right mix of voices giving that feedback. Okay, that's my you don't just have, because a few times you mentioned it last month and you mentioned it these months, we're talking about power users. Power users are not the ones who always need to be giving feedback, because we're going to figure it out. I'm a power user. I'm going to figure it out. It's the people who get frustrated because they can't figure it out. Those are the ones who are going to be your ones who are not going to adapt very easily or adopt very easily. And those are the ones who will give you probably the best feedback ever on whether something is working. Director Key Meredith, you wanna, before I go on, you wanna say something about that part? No, you're all right. That's what I was gonna ask. Go ahead. Before I have other things, but you can go ahead.
No. That's why I just want, I just didn't open up as much as you just did, Madam Chair. But, I was wondering about how deep that we can go into that at this point and to bring that out. Because a lot of individuals will get frustrated, if they're not properly trained, or if you haven't, what this tool is about, or what this technology is about. And the frustration is there, and then you don't have that effectiveness to move forward, like we're planning to do and what this presentation is speaking of. So just to have it more or less really clarified and dived in deeper at this point, it would be a suggestion, and not telling you how to do your job, but to make it clear to the ones that are actually doing this job.
All right.
Okay.
I like this reference to the 5-year roadmap, that this is not tied to a single project. If I were you, I would say that more than once. So we don't have to keep
Repeating it.
repeating it, because I can see that there's going, okay, so what project is this again? Because it will be taken as like this technology action plan is a project and is not a project. So I would mention that, sir, as often as possible, that this is a plan and not a project. And that this is a living, breathing document and not a static one, and it may change as we move through the years.
Through the course, yeah.
And it may change as we adapt to the strategic plan. So I would emphasize that. That would be my advice to you. To you all, not just to you. What methodology did you use for the staff priorities? Who did you talk to and how did you come up with this?
So this was related to the work groups. So each, we had each really division kind of broken down into work groups, talked about their priorities after the initial kind of discussion about what do they want to see, what's missing. So that was part of the discussion of, so each work group came up with their priorities, and then kind of as it came up to myself and Lakima, and we're working at it, looking at those priorities. It's what do we think we can do, this next year or not, because we can't do everything. And so it was, we started with which each work group thought, whether what they wanted to accomplish, and we kind of had to put a little reality check on it, but we wanted to move forward with as much as we can with the resources that we have available. And if we can get more resources to move certain initiatives forward faster, we'll do that as well.
Okay, again, who is at the table for this?
So those are, I mean, because you're not asking for position titles necessarily. We're talking, so this is representatives from each department, each division, where
Right.
we're at the table of these.
Again, I don't want you to, it's almost a rhetorical question. And again, this is one of those things where, did you have representation from all levels of the organization from each division? Or is this the power user conversation from each division to who determined the priorities? Or is this just the management from the divisions? How did you determine these priorities? And I think that that's kind of my point when I said before. Did you have someone who's like new to technology? Did you have somebody who's like struggling with the technology as well as a power user? Or is these all managers who are used to using or maybe it is somebody who's a representative for the department, but they talk to everybody back in the department.
We had a representation. I mean, just to answer the question, I think we had representation from all levels of the organization, and not just the power users, not only the managers.
Okay,
as
so
part of this process.
I would just be prepared to answer that. And then when was this done? When did you have these conversations, these work group conversations? Is this
So these were well, it's been a while now. It's been about a year ago. So the last 6 to 12 months.
Okay.
So they started about a year ago.
okay? I would just be ready to answer that this was done in 25,
Right. Correct.
right?
Yes.
Okay, so just be ready to answer that part. And then I would follow that with this whole notion of being cognizant that we need to make sure we speak to those who are comfortable with technology as well as those who are fairly comfortable and those who think they know, because nobody knows as much as they think they know. Especially because the next slide after that was training and adoption. And I like the tag, the technology only works if people can use it, right? It doesn't matter how much we adopt it, but if people can't use it, they can't use it. Now, my favorite part, which is why we're on the finance committee. What is I know we talked about this before, but what is the spend that we have? And I looked at the report, I looked at the recommendations, and this is what I want to take forth so that the board understands. I did look at the recommendation, but we have the district operating expenditures to the technology expenditures ratio. And I know we had a separate conversation when we had the presentation on upgrading our SCADA systems. Are we getting another presentation on that soon?
The SCADA system itself, or
We don't
No.
have one
We don't
currently
have that, no.
scheduled, no.
No, but we had one last year, I believe, on the SCADA operation system.
some upgrades that were happening
That's
to
what
the
I'm
SCADA
talking about.
system last year. So there's replacing the servers, replacing some of the components of our SCADA system. So that went to the board because there's a specific cost associated with that.
Right.
And so and there's more to do. and that's something that's coming out of this technology action plan is let's do a full assessment of the SCADA, because the SCADA is a living, breathing organism. It's not just one software. It's multiple softwares, it's hardware components, it's sensors, it's how the sensors communicate with each other. It's a cybersecurity network infrastructure on top of it. And so it's identified as in there's more that we can continue to do to assess the system to get it to make sure that it's as robust as it needs to be. And we've made a lot of work on it, just like on every system. We've done quite a bit of work on the SCADA, just like you're recalling last year, just to upgrade and update certain components. And so it's just we want to have also that is going to be its own project. Looking at the roadmap for where we want to go with our SCADA system right now.
Right. I was just wondering if that was coming soon, because that, I think, is another cost that we need to consider as part of this technology plan. And I know it's mentioned in the actual staff report, but I also think that the board needs to be cognizant that there's another cost that needs to be funded. And right now it is a required cost, and it is a critical function for the district, right? And I think that's not mentioning it as a separate item, other than, we have our technology, including the cybersecurity and the cloud technology and all of the apps that the district uses. And then we have the SCADA operational technology that we need to be cognizant always needs to be maintained and upgraded. And that's that's an entire budget on its own.
Right.
And so I just want to make sure that we're constantly reminding the board that that's something that we need to be cognizant of. So I just wanted to know when that was coming. It's not a question that needs to be answered right now, but I do want to make sure that at least you mention it in that conversation.
Just to add, it is an item that we are putting into our fiscal year 27 budget to move forward with it. There's going to be, the scale and the cost would most likely require it to come back to the board on a standalone item to get authorization for that contract.
Okay, so
there'll be more coming, but that is definitely high on our radar of making sure that we have budget to move forward with that initiative.
Okay, so even a mention that is going to be in fiscal 27, I think is sufficient.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
General Manager, go ahead.
Yes, Madam Chair, I just wanted to, you mentioned SCADA a number of times. I just wanted to make sure people know what SCADA is. The actual acronym is kind of awkward, the supervisory control and data acquisition, but what it is it's the combination of hardware and software system we use to monitor various portions of our system, such as lift station operations.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that, because I'm the first one to say don't use acronyms, and I violated my own rule. Thank you for that. So the other thing on the technology spending, and it is noted that the district, I know for FY25, our actual, it was noted that the district spent less than average on the operating expense to technology ratio. And for 26 and 27, we increased our budget on technology spend. So we are more of the norm when it comes to spending. Our budget for 26 is just over 1.5. And our budget for 27 is just around 1.3. It looks like we will need to do that for the next few years so we can automate more business processes and ensure that we have the proper cybersecurity, and you're moving more things to the cloud, which will hopefully get rid of some of the 120 applications that we're using. But I do think, sir, Deputy General Manager, you should emphasize this, this technology spending ratio, and that is the norm for public, local government agencies, especially when it comes to things like cybersecurity, and which seems to be big on everyone's minds right now. And these benchmarks are ones that we need to be look at. And as well, on the flip side, what happens when we under budget our technology spending? This isn't, and I would stay away from saying IT spending, because this is not just IT, this is technology spending. So I purposely am using that term, technology, instead of IT. So I hope that gives some kind of direction. I think that was all of my questions. Let me just make sure, because right now I can't see that well. Yeah, because automating the business processes, again, that's part of our strategic plan, and that cybersecurity is part of our strategic plan. So I would lean heavily on that and explain that I really would like for you to tell them that it's, there's a cost, just like there's a cost for improving our technology, there's a cost for underfunding the technology. We only to look to Foster City and Oakland and Hayward and several other cities who underfunded their technology to see what happens.
See what happens.
Any other questions, the Director, King Meredith, or comments?
No other comments? No other comments.
All right, and since we had such a robust discussion, Madam Clerk, you want to ask again?
If anyone has any public comments on item 3, the technology action plan, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public.
Before I ask for a motion, did you want to say something, General Manager? Okay. All right, I will ask for a motion to recommend the technology action plan to the full board. You can say so moved.
Okay, so moved.
All right, and we will move it based on the recommendations and feedback we provided to you. Did you have any further questions? Deputy General Manager, staff?
No questions. I appreciate the feedback and the comments, and we will bring this back to the board at a future meeting.
All right, thank you very much. All right, next item.
Okay, next item on the agenda is item 4, to receive an update on the electric vehicle charging program.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, have we received written comments on this item? Request to speak.
We have not. If anyone wishes to comment on item 4, EV charging usage report, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
All right. Since I don't see the room, I believe Janae Carter is in the room as our senior management analyst, who is going to be giving our presentation on the EV charging program. All right, turn it over to Janae.
Sorry, Janae, I'm sorry. Can you check the mic? Let's see.
There.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Let's try that again. Good morning, Chair Sedeth and Director King Meredith. I come before the committee to provide an information-only update on the electric vehicle charging program's first year of operation. The summary that follows has been compiled using data collected from ChargePoint between March 2025 and February 2026. The As a reminder, the public charging is available between 6 a.m. and 8 p.m. for 4 consecutive hours. The fee structure that has been set has been designed to recover the electricity cost rather than generating a profit. Over the course of this 1-year period, we've had 147 unique drivers, culminating to 583 sessions. The average charging time is just under 2 hours. And the total energy dispensed was 6,393 kilowatt hours. From environmental outcomes perspective, this corresponds to 4,833 greenhouse gas savings in kilograms, and 802 gallons of gasoline. This slide shows the total charging sessions per month, and they are separated by the public sessions and those that have been completed by employees. We have, again, a total of 147 unique users that utilize the EV charging program over the course of the first year, with unique users peaking during the summer months. This suggests that the program has both unique users and a steady flow of occasional users. The average session length is in total just under 2 hours. Around December, we finally increased and broke just above just shy of 3 hours. We maintain a 4-hour limit to support access and maintain availability. The energy dispense substantially increases after the first few months that the program was in operation. This aligns with the trending uptick in the average charging session length shown in the last slide. This is a heat map showing the users from their originating zip codes that are tied to the card used to pay for services. The heat map provides a quick visual display, not only showing the benefit of the members for this district, but how we support the region as a whole. Last notes, as this program aligns with our strategic plan, this allows us to be an environmental leader, reducing greenhouse gas emissions and gasoline consumption, and aligns with the point of engagement, partnership, and advocacy by providing an accessible resource for the community. Are there any questions?
I wouldn't be Cheryl without a question. Thank you so much for the presentation. Director King Meredith.
Okay. Well, thank you, Janae.
Yes.
Thank you for your presentation. I don't have any questions right now, but I'm pretty sure, Madam Chair, you may have some. I was just looking, just a comment. I don't have any, questions, but just a comment. I was looking at the usage from December to, let's look at this. From December till now, and I think it's, let's see, when did we start all this? Has it been any effect for the energy and the dispensation of the kilowatts over the last, let's say over the last 6 weeks, for the users, with everything going up and everything fluctuating up and down? Do you see anything going on with that for the kilowatt usage, like gas? Well, say for instance, gas went from $5 to $6 to $7, and the kilowatts and the users for the electricity and the solar, has that affected?
I cannot speak on that. The
Okay.
data presented here ended February 2026.
Uh-huh.
So the last 6 weeks would not be represented.
Represent, okay. All right. Well, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank
Janae.
you.
Okay.
Director King Meredith, just if I could just add on, if you're, I think, referring to just price increases,
Uh-huh.
it's something that we will, we can continue to look at. And just for everybody's information is that we do have a solar at the Hilltop site that is directly connected. So depending on the type of day, some of that electrical usage is generated through our solar on site. So it's a pretty complex calculation about how PG&E sets rates. We have a rate structure, but it's something that we'll monitor, and as if it changes, we can come back to the committee about anything that we've seen about price fluctuations.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Did we take public comment? Okay, good, thanks. It's just, it went way over. I didn't realize that.
I heard something.
Pardon me?
No,
A couple of questions. Thank you for mentioning the strategic plan. My recommendation is that it be included on the slides somewhere. So Deputy General Manager, maybe on, I don't know which side. I'll leave it up to you guys to put it on a slide, actually in the slide deck somewhere. And the zip codes, the user by zip codes, I love the heat map. I would like to know which zip codes it is, because you do have to try and figure it out. And then I would like to know where the majority is coming from.
Okay.
I know there's going to be a question. And boy, if I could win a lottery by telling you if there would be a question, I would not show up next Wednesday. But I know there's going to be a question. Where are the majority of users coming from? So if you can tell us, kind of give us that numbers, that would be great. And then just two more. Are we enrolled in either Deputy General Manager or General Manager, are we enrolled in the CARB program for the GHG, for the greenhouse gases? See, I almost did it again. So two things. On the slide, go back to the 1 year summary. Can we go back to that one? Right here. So true to form, I will give you a couple of pointers. Please put a footer explaining your acronyms. Okay. I know that we know that kWh means kilowatt per hour, but the person who might be reading this online may not know. So just tell them what that means. GHG, I know it means greenhouse gases, but somebody who's reading it online may or may not know. So just tell them what that means. And same with kg, is kilogram, okay? I hope they know that USD means US dollar, but I don't know. So anytime you use an acronym, just give them a footer or a little legend in the footer. But for the greenhouse gas savings, the GHG, are we enrolled in the CARB program?
I'm not familiar with what CARB program you're referring to. The one that's more active on our minds right now is just the Advanced Clean Fleet. But I know there are several different programs through the Air Resources Board.
Yeah, they have a program we can earn credits for. The General Counsel knows which one. I believe she knows. I can't tell her what she knows. I can tell her what she knows.
I don't think I do now.
Okay, I can send this to you. I can send this to you offline, but we can enroll and we will get credits for participating especially because we're doing this. And since the pilot program has ended, this is something good. We can get back for this.
Okay, yeah, you can please send it my way and we can look into it.
Thank you.
We'll take a look, and likewise, I'm not specifically familiar with that specific
Yeah.
program. When you say credits, what are the credits? What are the credits?
The credits are towards our energy usage. And since we're already working with the solar and so
We'll take a look.
I'll talk to you
Okay.
offline. But, yeah. The other thing I would like to know is, are we posting this prominently on our website? You know how I feel about this, especially this one right here. You're speaking my love language. The gasoline savings, the GHG savings. Are we posting this prominently on our website?
I could jump onto that. It's not posted on our website, but I think where it's the most bang for the buck is through Google search, which is where people find it through the maps.
No,
They just-
I'm
but
sorry.
you mean like
Yeah,
as
no,
yeah,
no,
go ahead.
sir, not to interrupt you, but I did interrupt you. I did interrupt you. I didn't mean finding the station. I mean the summary.
Yeah, not as of now,
Oh,
but
yes.
that's
No,
the
we
type
don't
of
have that, but we can do
information
that.
that we
Yes.
can start, and perhaps some of this information itself.
Well, I wouldn't call the packet prominent per se. If you were looking for a snapshot of this, yeah, we probably would have to.
Yeah, I would just like a snapshot of this. It's not the packet, it's not, I know that you can find the EV station because my son, I told him and he found it. It's not that because you can find that. I want this information, this particular information that is on this slide.
Got it.
Advertised or prominent on the site because this is what I was looking for when we first brought this up and when we were first talking about this, right? This is what I'm looking for, and this is what I want the public to know what we're doing.
This is the first time we've presented all of this information in
Right.
this kind of format to the committee itself,
Right.
so.
Right. But I know that it's going to come up. So I would like to get ahead of it when it comes up to the board, that we plan to post this to the website, prominently post this to the website.
We'll take a look, and I'm not sure exactly which information we'll post, but I understand what your point is. And so we'll
Yes.
take a look, and Mr. Lovell will get back to us on that.
I will leave it to you to figure that part out. And the last thing I will say is, you see up in the corner, the right-hand corner, where it says engagement, partnerships, and advocacy from our strategic plan, you see that little thing? This is what I'm talking about. This is what I like to see that. And there's another one, so add the other ones up there about.
I think it's on every slide.
No, but it's more. That's not the only one.
Okay. Yes.
I want the other ones that relate to, you mentioned it at the end. You mentioned the other strategic goals.
The environmental leader.
The environmental leader, put the other ones out there. Put the other ones on the slides, because then you don't have to put all those words on there, right? It's good that you mentioned it at the end. I loved it. I would say it at the beginning.
Okay.
And then put the little graphics on the slide. I don't care if you have to put them all the way across the top. You make us look good.
Okay. We'll make
And-
those updates.
And I think, and that was it. See, that wasn't hard. You did great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great presentation.
Yes.
And this it was for informational only. However, do we plan to bring this to, are we ready to bring this to the board, sir?
Yes, in this format, this is our 1-year update. We can bring this to the board.
Okay,
Is the
so-
way it's presented.
Yes, so I know it's for informational, but Director King Meredith, are you ready to bring this to the board?
I think so,
So,
Madam Chair, so I would like to,
Well, if
Move
I
this
could, I
item.
think,
wait, it's just informational.
if I could,
It's just,
there's
Yeah.
no vote for
Oh,
this item.
no, we're not voting. I just want to make sure she has no more comments for them.
Mhm.
You have no more comments?
None.
Okay. All right. So, you'll let us know on Deputy General Manager, if you need any other information from us, right?
I have all the information I need, and we can.
Okay, great.
We can
But
take
when
this,
you
our next steps.
just make sure you tell me where it's gonna be on the website.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, next item. 10:54.
All right. Next item is item 5 on the agenda is reports or on issues or matters pertaining to the work of the committee. Madam Clerk, have we received written comments on this item or requests to speak?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on item 5, reports, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
All right, just want to inform the committee of just upcoming our calendar forecast. So as the item about job specifications for the Infrastructure and Planning Department is going to be at the April 15th board meeting. We plan for our May 14th F&A committee is to have a purchasing policy update as well as our fiscal year 2027 budget update.
Okay.
And with that, that's all I have from staff.
Thank you. Director King Meredith?
I have no reports.
Pardon me?
I have no reports.
Okay, thank you. And we did receive a message from our partners at the Contra Costa Building Construction and Trades Council and about a couple of events. Did you receive these, sir? Sirs, you received these. So I wanted to make sure, one of them I will not be able to attend, but I did want to make sure that we can make sure we get these out to everyone about the Careers and Women in the Trades Day on the 16th of April. It's a Thursday from 3 to 5 is next week at San Pablo City Hall. If we can make sure we get that out to everyone. The San Pablo Economic Development Council, the Contra Costa Building and Construction Trades Council, and the Rising Sun Center are hosting that Careers Day, especially centered towards women in the trades. They're also hosting a Pathways to the Future Career and Trades Expo in manufacturing, logistics, and construction on Wednesday, April 29th, the day of La Diosa, at the Richmond Auditorium from 1 to 4. So I wanted to announce dates. I'll mention it again at our board meeting, but it'll be so close to the day that I wanted to make sure we give it a heads up. So if we can make sure we just announce those. I did mention to our partners that we would advertise those, as we said when we were meeting about the PSLA, that we would ensure to mention those. Other than that, that is all I have. Madam Clerk, back to you.
All right. The next Finance and Administration Committee meeting is scheduled for March 14th, 2026 at 9 a.m. here at
March?
Hilltop.
You want to go backwards? You want to go backwards to March?
May? It says May. I'm sorry.
May would be great. May would be great.
Excuse me, May 14th, 2026, 9 a.m.
Thank you so much. And with that, I wish you all a wonderful Thursday and an even greater weekend. Go out and dance in the tulips. It is 10:57. Have a great day. Microphone.
size of his book. Yeah, I'll have the bigger one. I like that.